tarmac. I'm Dave. I'm very excited.
I'm Matthew, and I'm almost speechless, but just managing to get some words out, because this thing of beauty and a part of the future behind me is none other than the Porsche Taycan Turbo.
Yep, it was the Mission E, and now it's Mission Us. It's right here, right now. Come and take a look at this. So being a guy of a certain age, you know, ICE engines or the internal combustion engine are pretty much where I am, and also V8s, V12s. I mean, the bigger the horsepower, the bigger CCs, the better, to be honest. So, I don't know, electric vehicles, I'm not opposed to them, I'm just semi-anti them. They're boring, they're Uber driving vehicles, but when you slap a Porsche badge on it and you turn it into something that's called a Taycan, as opposed to, even though it's written Taycan, and then you call it something that's named after the spirit of a young, I don't know, virile horse, I don't know, you expect something from it, and boy does this car deliver. Let's take a closer look. So the all-important Porsche badge, of course, some lovely, I don't know, lovely grooves to the bonnet here, which, you know, doesn't hide an engine, but then it wouldn't have been a 911 anyway. 4-point headlights. These are really bright and also matrix, and these lateral air curtains that direct so much air right down over the wheels back here and really help with the aerodynamics. Down the side, it's got a beautiful pure form. I mean, a really flat fly line, and also the handles here come out to meet you when you come near to it, which, you know, I like a car that greets you. 21-inch feet. They're big, they're massive, they're bold, and also look at this huge amount of Porsche braking going on here, and also the regenerative side of it. I think if you slam the brakes on at 200 kilometers per hour and put it down to 0, it gives you an extra 4 kilometers of range. Not bad, huh? But lovely looking, and you know, you'll want these close to the ground, and it is close to the ground. Actually, overall it is very close to the ground. You can also raise it and lower it depending, or to make sure that you're nowhere near any of those sleeping policemen or any of the mall stuff that this may go to. This here gives you your charging points, actually this side and the other side, because why should you have to walk around or lean over? None of that sort of stuff. Round the rear, this model comes with the panoramic glass roof, which, you know, really does let the interior flood in, but Matthew will show you that in a second. Comes with the Porsche aerodynamics here, so this spoiler has got 3 stages. The faster you go, 90, 120 to 200, I think it comes out even further and really makes this car sit down. This is the Taycan Turbo version, so there is one up from here and there's also one down. So this is middle of the road, but believe me, you'd never know. And also the Porsche badge is, or the Porsche name is actually hidden behind glass here, just to make it, I don't know, that much cooler. You'll notice a distinct lack of exhaust tips, because you know what, there is no exhaust, there is no emissions, or there are no emissions. It's just all go go go. The boot space is actually really roomy, 366 litres I think, plenty here, and also under the bonnet another 71 litres as well, so you can put your overnight bag in there, and I don't know, your golf clubs or something like that, who knows. Anyway, I'd say at this point let's look under the bonnet, but really most of it is done way behind the scenes. I mean, the figures are massive. It's got 2 permanent magnetic synchronous motors, one on each axle, that basically drive this car. It gives, I don't know, an output of 460 kilowatts, which with overboost will go up to 500 kilowatts. And get this, the Newton meter torque is 850, and the Turbo S does 1050. So, I mean, the torque on this is just, actually more torque than Matthew and I. It's plenty. Look, there's plenty of battery information and all the I don't know, the garbs, and I'll write that somewhere around here, just to keep, I don't know, the nerds that aren't V8 or V12 people happy. But you know, let's move on to the next bit, which is 0 to 100 comes in 3 seconds. 3 seconds! And that's only 0.2 of a second faster than the Turbo S, which is, you know, the Turbo's redundant, but we won't go into that. And up to a top speed of, it's around 260 or something like that. Anyway, it's lose your license speed, and it's just lose your license when you're going from 0 to 100. It's just magnificent. But anyway, something else that's magnificent is Matthew, and he's going to be inside just to show you all around what's going on there.
Well, I'm very flattered by Dave calling me magnificent, and I will say that I am easy on the eye, but something that's much more easier on the eye than me is, of course, this Taycan, both on the outside and the inside. If you take a look at what's in front of you, and you just see this big sweeping dashboard all covered in leather, and there's a very much signature element that Porsche does with their interiors. That's very much present in here, but it's just taken to the next level in terms of that futuristic idea, because you sit nice and low, and everything, the air vents and the screens, and it's all sort of been tampered with to make it look that's so much more futuristic. In front of you, that big sweeping digital dashboard, it's just amazing. And of course that's on, because when you step into the car is actually on, and then all you have to do is press that big power button on the side, which is the same kind of power button you press on your computer or something. It's so futuristic, and they really love that. Screen number 1 here is, of course, the infotainment screen. It's easy to use, and remember those days when Porsche used to have buttons all across the middle here? Well, everything is simplified with this screen right here. So you have the stock standard stuff, your navigation, phone connectivity, all that sort of stuff, but this car is intelligent, and if you click into that icon there of a Taycan, it'll show you exactly why. So you can adjust the ambient lighting and all that sort of stuff that gives it a touch of luxury. But when you go into drive, you can adjust the ride height of the car, you can adjust the chassis stiffness, you can adjust the throttle response, even the recuperation. Take a look at that. That's the regenerative braking, by the way. You can adjust that. There's a button here that says electric sports sound. Now if you hit that, it makes a very much futuristic whine that sounds like the intro of the Transformers movies. It's honestly amazing. You go through there and you get all the other stuff that you'd expect from a car. But because this is an electric car, it gives you a few more niche details, if you like, including, take a look at that average consumption figure. That's kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. There's no liters over here. The only fluid, in fact, looks to be the brake fluid. Another thing that's specific to this Taycan, of course it is an electric car, is that icon there that says charge. Click into that and you get a whole screen full of the battery percentage, the amount of range you have left, even a charge timer that you can use to preset the battery and get it ready for your drive. You can flick through these menus and adjust all sorts of different aspects of the battery, including a max charge if you want. There's the pre-cool setting. All of this can be tampered with through the screen here. Let's take a look at the second screen now. The second screen here does combine some of the aspects of the screen on top, because you have options for the navigation, the media, and of course calling, though you probably won't be able to speak much when you're putting your foot down in this car. Anyway, this screen also controls the air conditioning, the seat heating, the seat ventilation as well. And of course, you can turn it on and off with a button here that looks like the same button that you use to start up the Taycan. They do love those little gimmicks, don't they, those Porsche engineers? This screen is also, it responds with vibration, so when you press an icon like this, the battery, you actually have to hold it down, and it comes up with this. All the information that you need to know about your battery, including the percentage, the temperature, and the range you have left. That's pretty important stuff. Now for screen number 3, the all-important one, the digital dashboard in front of you. The screen wraps around you like those fancy TVs that you see on your TV. The way it just displays all the vital information you need to know. On the right side here, you have the traction control. You'll probably want that on when you're accelerating. The suspension settings, the ride height, and the diamond here connects you to your favorite settings. You can adjust that on the screen in the middle. The digital dashboard gives you all the vital statistics of the car. So it tells you which drive mode you are in, whether you're in park or drive. Remember, this does not have any gearings, though it does have a 2-speed auto box. So there's a little bit of old schoolness to this futuristic car, if you like. This screen here gives you all the vitals. Right now it's telling me that I'm not wearing my seatbelt, which is fine because I'm just sitting in one space. But if you are accelerating or driving for that matter, remember to wear your seatbelt. That's pretty important in any car. In the middle here, your speed and of course the power that will light up like crazy when you're really giving it a go. It also gives you the recuperation or the regenerative power of the battery. And on the left there, it tells you how much load each of the tires are taking and the general temperature and the trip, and there's just so many statistics here. But it's a futuristic car. It's something that you should know when you're driving it.
So as expected, the screen is actually very adjustable or very personalizable. So if we go to this section here, you can move for G-force, all-wheel drive. You can see just basically what the car is up to, which is pretty cool. If you can, I don't know, watch it while you're still driving, flicking across. You can change your power meter, map. You can actually go into even an extended map. There you go. You can actually see the whole thing. And again, see where you're going. The other cool thing is, if you don't want any distractions, go into reduce, where you just see the speedo. That's cool.
Remember, of course, this Taycan is a Porsche, and which is what makes the biggest difference, frankly, is this badge right here. This steering wheel just feels excellent to hold, and it's a proper performance car through and through, and you can feel that when you're running your hands through the steering wheel. It's got that Porsche DNA in it. But what's more important is this little knob here, the drive mode. Now, it lets you select between Porsche's different preset drive modes or your own individual one. So right now we're in range, which is built for efficiency, but flick it to the right and you go into normal mode. And then once more, you go into sport. And then flick it once more and you get into that all-important Sport Plus mode. That's the one you want to be in. But before we go and explore Sport Plus mode and find out the real credentials behind this Porsche badge, let's take a look in the back. It's a family car after all. Now you're looking down at me there, but that's for good reason, because you sit extremely low in the Taycan, and you can see that clearly from the profile of this car. It likes to sit low. Over here you have, of course, this massive transmission tunnel in the middle. Rather, it's not a transmission tunnel, but it's in fact where the batteries are stored, along the middle of the car and flat along the bottom, which is why you can't have a middle seat here. But you do trade that middle seat for some storage space, and of course really nice armrest covered in the softest of leather. You can get 2 people comfortably in the back of this car, and there is a ton of space in here even though you sit really low. This seat in front of me is pushed as far back as it can go, and I've still got plenty of knee room, and the covering of this sports seat is actually soft, which is a nice touch. Plenty of foot room down, even though this tunnel in the middle does intrude a little bit, but it's not a problem when you're sitting on the sides. And on the top, you've seen how much the roofline slopes, but I've got a ton of headroom there, and when I look up, there's even more, because this does have that full panoramic glass sunroof. Now those are all cool little touches, but this is a Porsche EV, and the only thing that can do it justice is taking it for a drive. So let's do that. I've got to say, I have been mentally preparing myself for this.
Have you? Good job, because you're going to need it.
If that doesn't wake you up, then I don't know what will. And remember, you can do launches like those again and again and again and again. That's the magic of this Porsche.
What did you say again?
Waiting for words to come out. Wow.
Okay, cards on the table. Yes, I'm an ice person and certainly love the combustion engine, but I did know about this car. I was looking forward to getting this car, and damn, I'm not disappointed one little bit. This car is magnificent. It's almost as magnificent as you. Far out.
Well, thanks very much, Dave. I'm flattered, but I've got to say, I've got nothing on this car.
You've got nothing on this car, admittedly.
So, like Dave was saying, as far as critics of electric cars go, there's generally two main fields. There's people who say, oh, well, you know, they've got nothing on petrol and diesel engines and they don't make any noise and all that stuff. That's number one. Number two is the people who say, well, aren't all electric cars the same? They've just got motors for each axle and batteries along the middle. Well, this car proves them both wrong, because it is electric, but it drives like nothing you've ever driven before, and the acceleration, as you'll see, as you've just seen, is incredible.
Yeah, the big fat feet make sure this sticks to the ground, but it's just the way that the motors deliver the power. So you can watch on the screen here where it goes from mainly rear bias to then going into being an all-wheel drive, front-wheel drive pull of a vehicle. So the traction is just impeccable, and the chassis itself, I mean, I think there's 5 different chassis things going on. I'll see if I can list them, because they really do, or Porsche engineers have really messed with the chassis, and wow, it just feels good. It sticks to the ground, and the humor as you go around the corners, it just loves them.
It is something special, that's for sure, and it drives like frankly no other electric car out there, because remember, it's got the power and it's got the big batteries and all that stuff, but it's a Porsche, and that badge and that name comes with a lot of racing DNA behind it. Decades worth of it, in fact, and you can clearly see where it's gone into in this car.
And I think the other good thing is the Porsche engineers, they really, the finishing is amazing. You know, I haven't cut my fingers once on any of the edges that I have done on other electric cars. They've taken the time, they've taken the effort, and it feels like a Porsche to drive. You know, it's lovely. The driving position's correct. The feel of the steering wheel is correct. It's the turn of the knob that gets you into that overboost to just terrify your passengers, and also half terrify yourself, to be honest.
Honestly, my neck's starting to hurt now from all this acceleration. But you know what makes the difference? That 0 to 100 stat is 3 seconds, and we've tested cars with similar statistics on tarmac life. But the difference is that because this is an electric car, everything above 100, you don't need gears for that. It just motors through those like crazy. And in a normal ICE car, you need the gears to, you know, break up the acceleration. But this electric car knows nothing like that.
No, and also, well, I mean, the two-step gearbox, so, well, two-step auto box, I don't know what you want to call it, but it does take you through. It actually does change gear before you get to the 100, but you just don't know. It's seamless. It just doesn't want to stop. It just keeps going. It's amazing. It's certainly, I mean, if there's a cop, apart from the fact that they won't hear you, you can just whiz past. So we've done this road quite a lot, and normally we'd raise heads, or the horses would look up and go, what's going on? But we're just whooshing past them, you know, gently near 60 kilometers per hour.
It just sounds like the wind is passing through some trees, frankly. That's the sound that you get, basically. But that noise that you get that unique noise is actually really cool, and certainly sounds like something out of the big sci-fi movies.
And this is of a sci-fi movie. I mean, it is warp speed. It's crazy fast, and yet just so comfortable to drive and so easy to drive. You know, again, we've been in a variety of models of cars that, you know, they're a handful. They've got the power, but they struggle to bed it down. You know, the back end will kick out a little bit too much and stuff like that. But this, I'm not fighting it. I'm just enjoying the speed, and there's ample speed. Oh, ample speed.
The speed has been battering around my brain so much that I haven't actually had a moment to think about the suspension in this car. But now that I have brought it up, I've got to say, it's so finely tuned. It rides a bit stiff, but it's not back-breakingly hard. It's the engineering they've done to get that sort of tension is just incredible, because it keeps this car grounded, it doesn't prevent roll, you know, all that sort of standard stuff, but the way it does it while being comfortable as well, what can I say, that's only something Porsche could do, frankly.
And 400 Ks of just fun. I mean, that's great before you have to recharge it. And it can recharge on the super fast chargers, because this is 800 volt. It can charge, you can get virtually a full tank within about half an hour or something like that. There's so much stuff. I mean, don't quote me exactly on those, but they're sort of relative figures. You can have your coffee, you can have your latte, or your, I don't know, your something to stiffen up your nerves, and then back away you go.
Actually, I'd probably recommend having nothing, because this car will bring everything out again.
Magnificent. And also the tech, you know, it has 360-degree cameras, it's got blind spot monitoring, it's got beeps where it needs to, but it's not terrified of everything, you know. It lets you play, it lets you be a Porsche driver.
I'm certainly a very happy chappy in here. The interior quality is just brilliant, frankly. Everything is finished so well, as Dave was saying. But the difference here is that all these things that we're bringing up, you know, stuff that it rides well, the quality is good, you know, blah 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 blah. I say blah blah blah, but they're all very important things. It's all things that Porsche have done so well throughout the years, and with the 911 they've constantly proved how good a sports car can be, while also being able to be driven every day. And all those skills that they've acquired, they've just basically transferred it into an electric body. And the Taycan is just, I have no words to describe how good it is, frankly. I was just racing through my mind and thinking, how can I sum this up into one word? But there is nothing for that.
No, it's a pure racer, but also it's a pure form, and also room for four, which is, you know, unusual, rather than the 2+2 with the 911. But if this is the future, I want a piece of this.
Bring it on. It's just stupendous.
So there you have it, the Porsche Taycan electric vehicle. Actually, the myths about electric vehicles be gone. This is a super sports car, and a super, dare I say it, family car as well. It's fast, it's good looking, it's modern, it's sharp, it's just, I just want to keep playing. I just want to keep doing the 0 to 100s. I don't think Matthew wants to, but it's awesome.
It is brilliant, and you know you can do that again and again and again.
Speaking of again and again, thanks for watching. Make sure you see the next one, because there will be another one and another video and another review coming on. It's been a pleasure having you on board.
And remember, this is just the turbo. There's even one above this.
Let's see if we can get it. 0 to 100?
Yep, let's go.
See ya.